Alright guys, finally, here is the dash pad. It's not really a dash pad, but I don't know what else to call it. Finished, well, semi-finished. I've rubbed it back and buffed it back with wet and dry. It's very smooth to the touch. Still got a few ripples and a few wee nicks in it here and there, but this is resin. So, I mean, it's burned through on a couple of corners too. I can just touch that up with a bit of gloss black. I'm of two minds though. It's very shiny and very nice and smooth. And these wee things here, I'll just put black caps over those and they just snap in place. And of course, the other piece fits in here. Got my gauges, like I said earlier on, they're all LED light bulbs. Some of them are getting a bit tired by the look of things. If you pull back, of course, you know, some things are getting tired. Yes, it's an automotive themed boat. I have plans for it. I love cars, I love hot rods, I love V8s and sound, music, and also V8 sound. So this is kind of where I'm headed with it. And this is where we're at. So the dash pad fits now. I was talking about scribing. See how it lines up all the way down. So for all intents and purposes, you know, you could walk past, bump into that, you probably wouldn't do much damage to it. It's very water resistant now. You can't tell that there's added pieces of timber on here and up here. I worked on the curve for hours getting it right. I'm still kind of in two minds about whether I go back to satin black. I kind of liked the satin black look just because it resembled this old girl over here, which is padded. That's the old one there upside down. Yes, it's been pouring even more again. So I've got my switches set up. I've got my GPS on simulate. Of course, none of that has been run yet due to the fact that I'm still building the boat. Everything lines up. I've still got my piece of, I would say, cutting board over here to fit in here. What I'm thinking of doing when it comes to fitting this in and out both ways, when I fit it in, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to run LEDs up there and around there. The LEDs in here, if you can see, they glow blue underneath the GPS. They are very tired, and like these other LEDs here that are all changeable and all Bluetooth controlled, I've got another set of LEDs that I can run through. I even made panels here and they would light up as well, all kinds of different colours, whatever colour you wanted with an RF remote. I'm of two minds to use an RF on this or not, so that I can actually keep control of it instead of Bluetoothing the whole thing. Anyway, that's for another day. So under here where it's all scratched and everything like that, no problem at all. Managed to get the curvature. I need to touch up quite a few areas here where I've had trouble finding screw holes and whatnot, but yeah, there's the black cap there. That black cap snaps over top of this wee plastic thing here and protects it. So I can't find my tablet, which is going to sit here and probably just become a chart plotter, so I can use my sonar here. Yeah, I can use that for the main stuff. So let's just see if I can get it to go on simulate. It's very old now. Marriage ended in 2012. This was brand new in 2012. It's still a Garmin GPS 720 and I'm extremely happy with it. So I've got a 7-inch screen, just Samsung tablet. What my thoughts are is I'm going to build it out plywood size and make a wee slot for it and sit it over here, completely symmetrical with everything else. But I'm going to make a plywood and then glass over it just to fit the dimensions, to match the dimensions of this, so that when it's here it's identical and right close in, and that way no one will notice the difference between, because the shapes will be the same. The screen is bigger on the tablet, but the shapes are the same. And then somewhere along here I want to put a missile switch in, maybe 2, 3, but the main missile switch will be a red one, and that missile switch, when flipped, will open the exhausts up, and we'll be running straight pipes out the back with just a single 320, I think it is, 320 horse 454. Again, back to the car theme. It's just kind of like what I love to do. I'm going to put my anchor up down controls here. So my anchor controls are going to be here. There may be some other rocket missile switches around somewhere for underwater lights as well. I've got blue underwater lights and white underwater lights, but there will be a red missile switch somewhere on the board. Hopefully I can fit it. Maybe over here, because over here it might be a bit tight after I put this in. Now that I've put curves on it and everything, it's not quite fitting, but I can fix that. That's no problemo. And once that's on there and screwed in, there'll be a light behind there, and I'll paint black what I don't want to show, what I don't want to see, so it'll be painted black. So I could just show the bottom and the top. I could paint this black right up to the edge and finish it up nice and clean, and the light will shine directly, and this whole line here would be blue, and then for example, the face of it could be black, completely black and blacked out, and I could just have a neon looking strip down there and a smaller neon looking strip likes of over here. So I could make a smaller one for there, and that would be neon, but this could all be blacked out. So you just see a strip here and a strip there and whatnot, and behind it there'll be an LED light, much like these guys here. These are all in. They're on previous videos. I did those over Christmas and New Year. They're replaceable, and these are the ones that are controlled by Bluetooth. Yeah. So these are my plans. This is what I'm thinking of doing. But just to round off and finish off this video, this is where we're at. And it's just mocked up at the moment. But I've finally managed to finish. And yeah, there's the odd run here and there, and a big run. That's a massive run there. I've just felt that. But that's a resin run for you. I can buff that back once I decide what I'm going to do. I'm either going to go satin black, or I'm going to go crazy and gloss black, and then some kind of Prismatech metallic or metal flake in the clear. That's kind of what I'm thinking of doing, just to keep it with the hot rod theme. And of course around here and down here, there was a guy in Sweden that did it. It's a very big mess at the moment because she's a project boat. But cut out the engine hatch right to the very size of the 454. Put some stainless steel down each side, maybe. I'm not quite sure yet. I haven't even gotten to the engine bay and started working on it, but I know that I can buff up the gas tank around that area and make it shine. Put some, my OMP steering wheel is a drift wheel. I'm actually hoping that this will really help me know when I'm reversing into a slip. I'm hoping that that will tell me where things are at, but I don't quite know how quick the ratio of the steering is, and I'm not quite sure. But I think what I will do is I'll mount right where this horrible light is right now. Up here I'm going to mount a reversing camera that aims down for cars, but it'll have lines. I'll be able to see the dock. I'll either tap it into this or tap it into my tablet, and then I'll have a camera, or depending, there may even be its own display. But the reason why I integrated my gear is because so many people, when they get their high-tech gear, they put it up here, and if you've got like a 10-inch screen, you can't see anything. You just got your screen, so you're basically like a pilot flying on instruments only when you can see out the window. And like so here, people put these great big screen things all over the show, and the only other alternative is to either put it on here, over here, and that's kind of fine, but I thought, nah, I think I'll integrate them. I just like it. That way I can see all of my gauges, the hour meter, which is not super duper important when you're hooning along. I'm planning on putting a holding tank gauge there and a water tank gauge there, or vice versa, so I'll make use of those. So I will be able to tell at all times what's getting full and what's getting empty. So I guess I could shut some lights down. And yes, at night time, I think it'll look quite cool. Right, just another quick addition to, or another future plan, show you what I'm doing on the future plan. This seat I don't like. It's a great thing to kneel on, and as you've seen in the previous mock-up videos, I bought a captain's chair, and my favourite boat, besides this one, the 305, is the 285 or the 2755. So the 2855 or the 2755, I'm talking 89 through to 93, 92 maybe with the 275s. They were the boats with radar arch and the beautiful sharp lines. And I really loved their chair, how it swiveled and everything else. And I fell in love with this boat for its layout. What I have bought is, for the captain's chair, I bought a sliding lock and swivel. Problem, because I have a deep dish wheel, and I also have another wheel as well, but I like the deep dish wheel, the chair won't slide and the chair won't recline because of this angle here. So not quite sure how far it's going to go, but I'm going to actually cut, this is one of my next projects that's going to be on the channel. Once I start, I'll get into it, but I'm going to recess this area here. May even have to get this shortened. I've got a mate that does that sort of thing for me. Recess it so that then I can slide the chair forward, slide the chair back. It's got a flip up bolster, and then I can also flip around here, put my feet up here if no one's coming by. You know, I can have the 2755 seat on my 3055. So this is was quite an expensive number for me to buy, but again, you know, you can move it. I think it's got 170 millimeters. What's that? Just 7 inches. 7 inches of forward and back. But of course, this here, I don't know whether I'm going to curve it, whether I'm just going to notch straight back. I may even notch down here, straight back, notch it in, and then cut this across here, of course, and flip this down and use this piece of gel-coated fiberglass, because it's not cheap and thin, as they say. I mean, previous owners have done stupid stuff. I mean, this is just big bulk holes everywhere. It's just gross. But once I cut this out, I'll then be able to use it for part of my structure in here. So that's the next really big alteration. And I know I've digressed a lot, but this is one of my next projects, along with the anchor and building one of these for my tablet to make it identical, because I just kind of had this in my head for years, and then being held back from the broken marriage, I was just looking at this boat for 7 years and I couldn't touch it because I didn't know whether I was going to lose it. It wasn't a very nice period of my life. But anyway, look, I am stoked to be alive. I love my projects that I'm working on. I want to bring you along for the ride. Been through the hard yards, but man, I can't wait. I can't wait to get out in this boat and start showing you guys some of New Zealand coastline, because it's pretty awesome. It's one of the coolest places to be in the world for boating. So anyway, as I said earlier in the previous stage of the video, I just cut back, exposing the plexiglass where I want light to shine through, and then fit that in. So I've got to build another one of these identical, and that'll sit here like so, in the same place like that. That's got a wee kink in like that. So I'll have to, I'm actually going to cork these in and make them watertight as well, but I'm going to have to make another one here. It'll be mostly fake. I'm not going to have to pierce this very much, not like this one where it's got a great big back on it. I'm building a ply wedge to this shape just to recess my other one in, so I'll have the two. And then I've got 8 switches along here. What else did I put in here? USBs. So I've got 4 USB ports. I've got a 12-volt socket. Of course, my safety lanyard, which you would have to make sure you always wear. I'm going to rig up the engine start button. That was something that Connor, my young son, when he was a little tot, he really wanted that to happen, but it goes with the automotive theme. So does the LEDs and the subs and the amps and all the fun stuff. I mean, it's all here. And we are getting through it. But it's high time I got this video out to you guys, because I know that I haven't sent one out in a very long time. So thank you, and I will be getting on to the next project as soon as I possibly can. I've got MADMAC'S, the speedboat, as well. We're going away in January, late January. That's the best part of the summer for us. So we've got to start prepping MADMAC'S, because we're towing him, and of course our Dodge Ram. We've just put new tyres on. They only do 12.5 inches here. I've got some older ones that are 15.5 inches, but I mean, we're working on the Dodge, working on MADMAC'S, and of course getting him set, but I'm also wanting to do the anchor locker, the bowsprit, sort the anchor out here, and then I want to pull the switches out and get everything wired properly, because at the moment plugs have fallen off and all the movement and everything else, things have just like fallen by the wayside. So I think that in this instance that's kind of going to be the order of things. But hey, I've got a dash now that actually fits this and looks really cool.